Hello and welcome back to the Footy Fans Podcast, episode 15. Andrew, Santo, and Joe, as always. Please, everyone, like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button. Get all the updates and all the breaking news coming to you from Footy Fans. Helps the page, helps the channel, helps us get our name out there, and get some more exposure.
Yeah.
You know how it is. 2021. If you don't know how YouTube works by now, then what are you doing?
Yeah. Welcome, everyone.
So we both, so all three of us had a busy schedule over the weekend. That's why we're recording this one on Tuesday night. Episode will come out Wednesday morning, midday, depending on when the wizard gets our video out there on YouTube, and also on all other podcast platforms. Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. So with midweek podcasts coming out, we had some midweek games too that we'll have to talk about later on. But the bulk of the discussion will always be on the weekend matchups that took place. And we had a pretty trendy topic this weekend.
Yeah.
PKs.
PKs. Everyone got a PK.
Seriously.
Actually.
Top four, City, United, Chelsea, Liverpool, all scoring PKs, sometimes more than one in one game, which we'll talk about definitely later. But, we'll start at the top of the table as always. Man City versus Wolves. 1-0 victory for City. I think the biggest talking point from this game was the yellow and red cards dished out by John Moss in the first half there.
I don't know what Raul Jimenez was thinking. It's just weird. I don't understand how, you're a pro and you're just, obviously it's a lapse of judgment.
Yeah.
It's just so strange to watch.
Yeah.
It's it happens, he just puts his hand on his head. It's oh no, what I do? It's what the heck?
Yeah, and he was very surprised after. Well, maybe not surprised, just the look on his face had an element of shock. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a rule that's been pretty strictly followed. So especially just getting a yellow card, the fact that he just didn't move from the ball and made it really easy.
Yeah, I mean, it was so obvious. You have to give him a yellow, otherwise you're just not, following the rules. It's just super weird.
I mean, do you think that was a situation where maybe he could have got a talking to and saying hey,
I don't
listen, you
think
just got a yellow?
Not at that point in the match.
No. I mean, it's so.
If that was in the first 5 minutes, obviously, then I would see John Moss pulling him aside and saying, "Hey, smarten up, don't do that."
Mm-hmm.
And he's a striker too, right? He's not he's a midfielder who's winning battles throughout the game, or is going to be in that many tussles throughout the match.
Yeah.
So I think obviously being in the 44th minute, whatever it was, to get the first yellow, enough game has gone by where he can make that challenge. I mean, you guys know that. You guys know that move a lot, or know that move well, by pulling the defender back or the midfielder back. Once they win possession, that's a yellow card every day of the week.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, the ref can't not give a yellow for the the ball infringement. I mean, because then City's gonna be that's a yellow card. There's no gray area about that. It's not he's on a yellow, he goes into a dodgy challenge, the rest gives him a talk to hey, calm down, you're on a yellow. It's that. Yeah. That's just a yellow card in the rule book. So you can't really just ref's discretion just to not give a second yellow on that one's I don't think applicable.
Having happening in that quick succession is just what's crazy.
It's just so weird.
It's literally it's following the foul he just committed.
Yeah.
And then that's where the second yellow comes from. Like you said, lapse in judgment. That's probably the case, but you're professional, man. You can't be doing that. That's literally amateur stuff.
Yeah.
You would see that on the Sunday afternoon match where a guy's just trying to be a dick and just trying to block the ball. I mean, the stakes are a lot higher than this than on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Never seen it before in that quick succession.
No, really,
for that kind of situation.
And which is kind of unfortunate because Wolves were holding City up to that point. I think I've said this before, but when City struggle to break down a team, I feel if too much time has passed, they go into a bit of a panic mode, and they just try. It's banging their head against the wall. It's we're doing Pep's system, and it's like not working. And then, but finally they get a goal from a PK.
First PK.
First PK of the day.
Yeah, first of many.
City against Wolves.
I mean, this will probably be like a reoccurring question throughout the whole podcast, but deserving, yes or no?
I think so. I mean, I think any point when you're defending and a ball's coming at you and you raise your hand above your head, it always bears a question like, why is your hand there? It really has no purpose being there.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of why the rule's there, being in a natural position, because if it's in an unnatural position, you are impeding play. So there's really not any reason why a player has to put their arm up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can make the argument that he was protecting his face, and the only way he could protect his face was putting his entire arm up. But I don't know.
I mean, when the arm's above your head, like you can go like,
his arm was like fully raised up.
It's
like,
always
straight up in the air. It wasn't like he was blocking his jaw or something.
It's always asking for trouble if your hand's above your head.
Yeah,
it's almost always asking for trouble. So
it's like as far away from your body as it can be, instead of keeping it tucked and still trying to protect yourself. So
yeah, I think deserving. To be honest, I know we'll get into the other ones, but I think all of them were oddly deserving. But just is what it is.
Yeah, it's not very common that we take the side of the referees and
I know
many times, but in this one, I think it was Giammattino was the defender on the play, and he was trying to argue that it was hitting like his abdomen or not abdomen, but his like rib cage area or like his armpit, which I mean, still like that's a pretty sketchy spot to say that that's where it hit you, because like last time I checked, your armpit is part of your arm.
Yeah,
like it's got to hit part of your arm for it to be able to hit him there.
Yeah,
and then ricochet the way that it did.
Yeah. And if it was gonna hit only your armpit or your rib cage area, why didn't you just keep your arm tucked in and it would have hit your shoulder?
Exactly.
And not have been a PK.
I mean, it happened actually later on in the match. I think it was Bernardo Silva or something had a shot, and another player from Wolves like slid out to defend the ball, and he tucked his arms into his body and it hit him like square in the chest. It was against his forearm. But it was like tucked into his body. So, I mean, clearly, if you position your arms in a non-vulnerable way, and it still strikes you in the arm, then you can probably get away with it. But like when your arm is like straight up, pointed to the sky, and it catches your arm in any way, shape, or form, I mean, it's just, I'm surprised it goes to VAR. But there's not many. It probably won't be overturned many times. So
no,
rightfully awarded. Raheem Sterling, kind of surprised actually that Sterling was the one that was taking this PK.
Yeah,
because actually he wasn't one involved for the England national team.
Yeah,
he wasn't one of the PK takers in the Euro. So kind of surprised that he took the ball for this one, but he converted down the center of the net, his 100th Premier League goal.
Yeah, good for him.
Between City and Liverpool. So
massive goal for him.
Good for him.
Yeah. But back to that PK, it kind of reminds me of Boateng in Euros. I don't know if you guys remember that when he's coming in, forwards in front of him, and I don't know what he was doing, but the ball was coming into the forward in the air, and he just goes in with both his arms above the forward, like stretched out like this. So it jumps in the air, basically does like a come pick me up with both his hands up over the forward, and it hits his hand. It's like, there's never any reason to put your hands on your head.
I remember that. That was so fun.
What Euro was that?
I forget if it was Euro or the World Cup, but
if you're dropping a Boateng, that's gotta be like Euro 2012 or something.
I think something like that. But,
yeah.
Anyone who's interested, look at Boateng handball in Euro or World Cup.
I think this is the first Jerome Boateng mention in all of Premier League podcasts.
Yeah, I think it is. It just came to mind because there's no reason ever, and it's gonna be awarded every single time.
So big win by City, a game that they again were probably destined to win and meant to win.
Yep.
The only thing I'll take away from that is just it's another game where City dominates the play in all facets, and it's still a 1-0 victory. And it was relied on a PK. Not a questionable one, but it was a 66-minute PK where, by the 66th minute in Man City standards, they probably would have had the game like signed, sealed, delivered by that point, you would think. So, I mean, just another one where they just don't seem comfortable enough to score. And I know we'll get into the Leeds game that took place today, which is gonna
stomp that theory.
I'm stomping my own theory about what we're gonna talk about later. But I'm just saying in relation to this game, against a Wolves side who is coming up a little bit. They obviously had a struggle to the start of the season, but coming into this game, they were sitting in a top 10 position. But still, it's a game that City would want to, take full advantage of and dominate and just make an easy, clean victory out of this game.
Yeah.
Even with, Champions League matches that occurred midweek, they still had a lot of the starters playing this game. Zinchenko actually made an appearance this game, which we haven't seen in him in a while. Mm-hmm. But from City's standards, we would think that they would win this game handily. 3-0, 3-1, whatever it is.
Yeah. So
is this just another match where we're looking at City saying that they need somebody else, like another piece of the puzzle, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you keep saying, it's like they're missing a striker, because I say it almost every week. They can probably win the league without a number 9. But if too many teams stay organized, like Wolves did for a lot of the game, if enough teams do that, they're really going to get frustrated, and there's going to be a situation like this where they have to scrap out a win with a PK. It's not always going to happen that you're going to get those draws. So you do need that number 9 that can make something out of nothing. That's the one thing they don't really have in their team. They're all technically amazing, like best players in the world, play well together, can break down teams, but I don't see someone that can just make something out of nothing unless De Bruyne's snipping from outside the 18.
Which hasn't happened in recent weeks or years.
Except for today against Leeds.
Well, we'll talk about
besides
that
the
later,
Leeds game.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously such a quality side, and again, we always pick and dissect the best teams because they have such small flaws. But when they keep happening and reoccurring week after week, it's becoming more not just a flaw, but it's becoming more of a trend that we're seeing, where it's City just can't put away teams like what they used to do. And when I say what they used to do, I'm talking when they had Aguero in the side, where you looked at him every single time, and it's this guy is our number 9.
Yeah,
he rocked number 10, but he was the striker for the team.
Yeah,
where you can count on him for 30 goals. They haven't had a 30 goal scorer since Aguero.
I know. Everyone just
gets like a handful.
Yeah.
Everyone on the team.
You get piece players, right? You get De Bruyne putting in 8. You get Mahrez putting in 13. Sterling 12. It obviously it adds up, and it's great to have. But if everyone's not clicking, that game, or if something happens for a couple of weeks where everyone's just not gelling properly, it can become an issue.
Yeah.
If you don't have one source where they're going to score all the time, it's difficult. I look at I think my biggest comparison, because he's probably been the most informed striker in the last 5 years, Lewandowski with Bayern Munich. It's he's going to score.
Yeah.
When he plays. I don't know if he's literally averaging a goal a game, because that'd be super impressive. But it's whenever you see Bayern Munich play or highlights from them or a score sheet, Lewandowski always seems to be on there, and he just puts away goals in every possible way. City doesn't have that kind of player.
Yeah.
Where it's you see week in, week out the same names on the score sheet. It's always somebody different, or it's always somebody just kind of coming out of the clouds, and it's oh, this guy scored for us. That was huge.
Yeah. It's Rodri scored. It's
exactly.
Okay.
Rodri.
Okay.
I mean, the goals that Rodri has scored this season, they haven't been crucial, I don't think, in the score line as much. Because when he does score, it's a 4-0 victory over Everton or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it scores a banger from outside the box.
Yeah, I mean, quality goal. But I mean, it's not a decisive goal where it's oh, wow, we were trailing and we needed Rodri to score for us. But I just don't know if that's going to bite them in the ass in the long run. Obviously, we'll see again. Once it comes to January, if they do pull any strings and make a big signing. But
yeah,
I mean, they're obviously comfortable right now with where they're at. They're top of the table for a reason.
Yeah. And honestly, yeah. Sorry, I hope Grealish, it does start working for him, because I honestly think he's getting a lot of slack for not performing too well. And I think he's been playing pretty well outside of his finishing, because obviously,
he had some chances this week.
He had some key chances against Wolves that, in his Villa days, he would have put away easily. So I think if he gets the time that he needs to start performing well, I think it could turn into another Mara situation where maybe he has a slow start, but then just really turns into another goal scoring machine for them.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, just the positions he gets in, yes, maybe it's just nerves. Like, they're easy chances. You can obviously put them away. It's just in your head that maybe it's a little bit tough. So I think it'll work out for him. Like, Pep always seems to bring out the best people. Like, I know I can maybe Danilo is one that comes to mind that didn't work out, but for the most part, almost everyone he's brought in just turns into a superstar afterwards. So yeah.
Well, Grealish like came out of the gates flying, like when he started like his first couple of games with City, and I think did he pick up an injury or a knock? Like he missed a couple of games. He didn't start a few games.
Yeah,
like a knock.
Yeah, so maybe that just kind of set him back. Because like once you get that momentum, like once you start playing super well and like you get into like that form where like everything you touch goes in, like any little setback might throw you out of that trend, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he'll like obviously I think he'll come back. He's young enough, he's good enough that this little dry spell for him is not going to, end his career. Obviously, again, I don't know what happened today. He could have put in a hat trick.
I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm just gonna watch we're gonna watch the Leeds highlights. And
So we're gonna go through the weekend matches here and break it down, and then we're gonna watch in real time the 17-minute clip from DAZN Canada. We're gonna break down and watch in real time what happened to City and Leeds games today. Obviously, we know their final result 7-0 in favor of Man City at home to Leeds. But I could be talking out of my ass right now saying that Grealish is shit. He's out of form. He could have put 4 away today. So we'll see in a little bit.
It should be exciting.
It'll be a real natural reaction. Speaking of Leeds, though, I mean, tough spot for them to be in.
Yeah.
The last 2 matches that they played. The game against Chelsea on the weekend, I mean, they played well enough that they deserve at least a draw, I'd say. I wouldn't go as far as giving them the win, but taking an early lead against Chelsea, I mean, it's nothing to look back on. It's obviously impressive to do, especially at Stamford Bridge. Obviously a tough place to play. I thought coming in this game, Chelsea would have had Lukaku starting this match.
Yeah.
Just because he has been out of the side for so long. And I mean, they had Champions League game midweek against Zenit that he did start in, but he was subbed off at some point. I forget exactly what minute he was subbed off, but he did play a little bit that game. He did score a goal, which is obviously good. But I thought he would really come into this game and put in like a full 90 at least, or if not that, 70 minutes or so. So that's what I look forward to the most in this match. But with Rafinha coming out there and scoring a PK early on, it kind of put Chelsea back again. And this is not a situation that Chelsea sees himself in very often by giving up early goals and then just goals in general.
Yeah.
You look at their goals against tally this year so far, and it's obviously, if not top of the table, it's right up there.
Yeah, that's in that plus 27 right now.
Yeah, goals against at 11, but coming into this game, they were, at 9. Tied for best with Man City. So again, it's Rafinha for Leeds, which we see that happening all the time for them now. Like he seems like their talisman. He seems like their go-to guy. With Patrick Bamford actually out of the side now, he seems like the player that's going to get them their goals when they really need it. I think he's probably up for a big team move in the next year or so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, it's like that Brazilian flair, right? Like everyone kind of loves to have that Brazilian player on their team. Like Chelsea had Willian for the longest time, and Ramirez even like way back in the day. So I think teams really want to they love just that little style that they bring to the game. And for him at Leeds, he's a perfect fit. But I think his talent and his quality is actually good enough to get him out of Leeds.
Yeah,
maybe it's not like a top side, but like an Arsenal could take him.
Yeah, I was gonna say like an Arsenal or
West
Tottenham.
Ham maybe. Yeah, Tottenham actually like a really good spot for him. Get him on the wing, give some more service to Son and to Kane, who obviously needs it. But yeah, Rafinha again for Leeds, deserved PK, I think.
Yeah,
all around we think that.
Yeah, and I think it's to Joe's point where it's like, why are defenders going down in the box when there's not like a whole lot of danger?
Mm-hmm.
I think Alonso with that tackle could have probably done better without going to ground.
Yeah.
Because you're just really asking for trouble. If you're going into a 50-50 challenge and you're the defender and you're the one going to ground, you're just asking for the forward to take a touch on the ball and then like go over you.
Mm-hmm.
So still not sure why it happens, but especially with VAR being a thing, it's going to get turned over if the ref doesn't call it, and that's what he made the call and then got confirmation that it was good.
Yeah, it's an issue I always see. It's like, oh, there's no danger, especially with attacking players, just in the weirdest spots. Like, we'll talked about the Arsenal game. It's like just going down from behind on someone who's already in on the box. Not a ton of danger.
Last week with
Odegaard. Yeah. It's like, why? For what reason?
I know. It's like at a young age, maybe not young, but at an age where you start to play higher level of footy, just jockey the player is what you're told. Jockey the player, get goal side, shield him, don't let him get inside positioning, whatever it is. Alonso just dove in.
Everyone's trying to win the ball in the box when it's not there to be
of all time for no reason.
Yeah.
I guess a player who's like stagnant. Like it was Daniel James actually. He's a shifty player. He's a quick kid, but he was stationary at the position at the time when Alonso dove in, and then Daniel James, all he did was push the ball 20 yards ahead. There's no way he was going to get to the ball.
Yeah,
but he just sensed, I think, Alonso was going to dive in, so he just pushed the ball past him to try and get around him. If there was no contact, that ball's out for a goal kick, like right away.
Yeah.
But obviously, like Alonso just lunged in like a goof. Drives me nuts. But
it took James down.
Alonso's one of those players too, where he's so inconsistent with me.
Yeah,
like I don't know if he's in this. He's in the side right now because Ben Chilwell has had a thigh injury, I think, for a few weeks now, and like it's starting to look better. Actually, I just read it's starting to look better than what it first initially thought it was going to be. Like they were thinking like months and months and months he's going to be out for. But he might be back just after this Christmas break, which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
But Alonso, man, I think he might have like overstayed his welcome a little bit because like he's getting up there in age now, and like obviously he's slowing down and showing his age a little bit on the defensive side. But that being said, his attacking quality really outweighs his defensive skills.
Yeah, and sometimes I wonder if teams, I wouldn't say value it more. I'm just thinking where I think there is a place for a player like that. Maybe against Leeds, it might have not been the best option that they would have went with just because of their attacking players and all the pressure he would have got from players like James. But if they're playing against a team that they know is going to sit back, I think that's where Alonso would really shine because he has the freedom to go forward. But I don't know, against like when you have players like James or Rafinha that have to come at you, maybe he's not the best option.
Yeah. I mean, it's even with City and João Cancelo, it's like he's not great at defending, but City doesn't have to defend too often.
Yeah.
So, and like, even today, Alonso got the assist. I mean, granted, keep wasn't in the best spot to deal with it, but it is what it is. Then got a couple more PKs in the game.
Yeah, Joe's just alluding to the Mason Mount tying goal. So yeah, Chelsea brought it up 2-2 at halftime. I mean, not impressive from Chelsea standards. I think this is a game where they should look at kind of like a bounce back from what happened earlier in the week against West Ham. But nonetheless, it was 1-1, and then the PK fun started happening in Chelsea's favor. So Rudiger wins a PK in the first half. Again, another tackle from Rafinha. We talked about him again. Initially deemed a corner kick by the referee, but VAR check, I think positively changed it to a PK. Jorginho does his, signature hesitation move and buries in the back of the net. And from that point on, I think Chelsea was kind of in control. And then it was until the last 10 minutes in the match that Leeds drew level once again. Gelhardt came on as a substitute, I think just a few minutes before he scored in the 83rd minute. It's kind of just exposing Chelsea at the back a little bit in their defensive structure.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who the other defensive partner was for this match. It was Rudiger. Who was it? It was Rudiger and Thiago Silva, who I think in the West Ham match was actually starting to show his age a little bit.
Yeah.
In the game against West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
He's a player where you can't, like, he's obviously a player that you can depend on just based on his quality and his experience. But his physicality, I think, and like his fitness is coming into question a little bit now more than we thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
Like his biggest criticism when Chelsea signed him was, why are you signing this guy? He's like 35 years old. Like he's a defender. He's old. He's slow. Which that was kind of my initial reaction as well. But then in the back of my mind, I was thinking, this is Thiago Silva on a free transfer. So whatever you're doing, it's not the biggest risk of all time. It's not like they signed him for like 50 mil and they they're going to be tied to that contract or tied to that transfer fee. So by getting him on a free transfer, obviously that was pretty key.
Yeah.
And you look at the games that he plays most for Chelsea, and they're really high-profile matches. Like he was playing in the Champions League final against City. He was playing in FA Cup finals against Arsenal. He was playing like the biggest games against City, Liverpool, United. So clearly, even though that these teams are obviously maybe outclassing him in obviously the age department and the speed, his experience, I think, weighs more on the mind of Tuchel, and when he says, "Okay, we need Rudiger and Thiago Silva for this match because I know that they can get the job done."
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of sacrificing a little bit of pace for, like the skill set that he has, just like by knowing where to be on the field. All that being said, in this particular case against Leeds, I think he was caught off guard, and I think he was beat to the ball by Gelhardt, and that obviously proved costly and tie the game up that late in the match.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked him. I think he's a good rock to have at the back, but like you said, if there's a very shifty, speedy team going against them, especially like a lead side like Rafinha going at you, it is a little bit tough. But we're picking chips off Thiago Silva's shoulder. I think it's a little tough to criticize him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously being super critical because I'm a fan, right? I watch this team every single week, so I see how they play, and I see more. I guess I'm more critical because this is like my team, quote unquote. So I obviously love the guy. I love that he's been on their team because he has proven it's like super worthy.
Yeah,
the last season and a half or 2 seasons. But there's just some cases where I see like, okay, like that was probably Thiago Silva's fault. Like that was probably why he wasn't in position properly, or he got beat to the ball. But clearly that was all taken away just 10 minutes later.
When who earns a PK?
When Rudiger wins the PK.
Yeah.
Once again.
Really questionable tackle by Leeds there. I mean, it's one of those situations, kind of like the ongoing discussion we're having tonight on why we have defenders or maybe attacking players doing defensive or attempting to do defensive tackles in the box where it's really unnecessary. If you're Rudiger facing away from your net, you just like kick him through the back of the leg in the box, and the ref has no option but to give it PK.
Just give kudos to Rudiger for being up there too.
I know. What are you doing?
Like he loves getting forward. I think he gets a little carried away sometimes with his runs that he makes, because he'll carry the ball from half sometimes and like try and beat 3 guys and take a shot on net.
Yeah, like an old school Rudiger run. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, what are you doing? It's like a lot of time does not. I mean, I don't think he's ever scored like that. So the majority of the time it doesn't work out positively at all. I can't remember if this was off a PK or something, or off a corner kick or something, and he just kind of stayed up on the field. I'm not totally sure, but I mean, to have that big body in the box, it's a battle of men, right? It's like 2 center backs against each other. You have to be a little bit more physical when you're dealing with a center back than you would with like a Mason Mount or a Pulisic.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what the defender was thinking, but what a rash challenge.
Yeah.
Just he cleaned him out. Like he went right through him to get to the ball.
Yeah, and I mean that's always a risk you run when you have a player just trying to take down the ball and then you try and clear it through him. like we've just been saying, you just got to jockey the guy. Like Joe said, Rudiger is not going to turn and like bang one far post, right?
When he said that, I thought the Henry goal.
Oh
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He's not Henry, not gonna chip out himself volley.
Sees the one ball, flicks it to himself, turns, volleys, top cheese. Like, one of the greatest
most of the
goals all
time, if you're in a good position and you're defending properly, they're not gonna score.
And that's what I mean. Like, just going back to the Alonso thing, just get goal side and just shield your defender or shield the person you're defending.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just common soccer practice. Like, that's what we were taught when we were like 12, 13 years old. Like, first starting to get like actually like learn the game more than just Timbit soccer, like running around the ball and chasing it. Just get goal side. Don't let him turn inside and just stand there and just like jockey the position.
Yeah.
This defender from Leeds, I think his name's Klitsch, is his last name, Click, just cleans him out.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just really, really unnecessary. Could have been avoided, but that's what makes a difference.
But why is this happening at the pro level? Like, why? Like, is it just
granted, you're tired, you're mentally fatigued.
Is it fatigue?
It is like if they look back, it's like you just should have jockeyed them, but like you just get lost in the moment. You're not really sure where you are on the field. Just get lost.
But like whenever the Premier League is like the most professional of professional levels of soccer. Like, you would think these players more than anybody would know what the hell they're doing.
I mean, I always keep saying it. I don't understand how someone who gets like 60 million or like 30 million a year to play soccer every day and you can't hit the net from outside the 18 with minimal pressure.
That's crazy too.
I will never, and I know like it's hard, whatever it might be, and they gotta shoot it hard because the goalies are really good. But like still, I mean, if De Bruyne is outside the 18 with even a little bit of pressure, I would expect it to be at least on net.
Yeah,
90% of the time. I've said it to Santo for like years. It's like I don't understand how pros don't hit the net every time from outside the 18.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
And like, we're not tooting our own horns.
We can't do it.
But that's what I'm saying. We can barely do it as it is with like our level of soccer. But it just makes you think of like that disconnect between like quote unquote our level and the professionals. It's like if we're doing
if I miss the net 80% of the time from outside the 18, like how come the pros do it too?
Doing it too? It blows my mind. And they're playing on a perfect field, like no excuses on the pitch.
I'm not even saying score all the time, but like it's crazy how much they like shoot it over the net.
Yeah,
it's like you should be aiming low anyway.
I think the biggest disconnect with that is that they're also going as professional goalies.
That's what I keep saying. Like they have to hit like crazy hard because like
the
goalies are like top notch and you gotta like snip almost all the time, but it should still be on net.
I've heard that. Like, I mean, like we're a bit biased because like we've scored goals before, so like we kind of know like how to score. Like, but I mean, a goalie that we've played against is like 5'11" or 6 foot.
Yeah,
is way different than like a 6'6" goalie.
Oh no, we would probably never score.
Who's like way faster than you would think.
I mean,
bigger body size than you think.
When we played indoor and we were playing when we were on the engineering team in indoor, we were playing that team of lawyers who had this goalie from like, I don't know, a D1 school.
Oh yeah.
And we could not, and he was so good. We could not score, like no matter how good it was just not going. I mean, granted the nets were like small nets. But
I think honestly it's probably a combination where you have all the added pressure of playing at the highest level, and then you have to like hit one of the best shots to beat a goalie from that far. So that probably has the most to do with it, because you look at these guys in training, and when they're taking those shots in training, 99 out of 100 of them are going in and are snips. So it's when you're in a game situation and you have to beat the goalie, and this might be the only chance. It's all the added pressure that just comes up and does it for you, because that might be the only shot you get all game.
Yeah, that's probably it.
It's not like a practice where you're going to be able to take it 100 more.
We're gonna go with that.
I remember like 15 or 16 years ago, I was playing a tournament, and our team was like pretty bad. Like, we weren't very good, but somehow we made to the final of this tournament that we were playing. And I think it might have been in like St. Thomas or something. I can't remember. It's just outside of London. And we played against a team from Mississauga, and their goalie was like 6'4" with a big like Oliver Kahn jersey on.
Oliver Kahn.
We were like 14, and this goal is like just massive. Like, it's the biggest goal I've ever played against in my life, and it's like goals that I would have scored against goalies in our league. This guy was just like picking out of the air like nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, how do I score on this guy? It was a shot from outside the 18-yard box. It's like kind of going to the corner. He wouldn't even dive for it. He would just like kind of shuffle over and catch it. And I'm like, that would be in 9 times out of 10 in our league here.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shows like the difference in quality and skill, obviously, and like just natural ability.
Yeah.
Being as big as some players are and some goalies are. So yeah, it's like you do have to like kind of put in like the best shot of all time, you would think, to try and score on these goalies.
Mm-hmm.
But to Joe's point, these goalies might be the quote best of all time, but like you're also professional.
You're also De Bruyne.
You're also like one of the best.
I always
of
go
all
back
time.
to De Bruyne because he's so good and just so accurate with his
What's
shots.
he been
Like,
doing this year?
how
He
do-
hasn't
I
showed up this year.
don't know. I mean, except for the Leeds game, we're gonna review at the end.
You're holding this Leeds game over my head like it's
I know.
like it's like the biggest game of all time. Obviously, they win 7-0, so like something good obviously happened. But yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it later. A little teaser for later on in the podcast. Another match that was decided by a PK. Another one to discuss later.
One of the last two.
United and Norwich. I mean, again, this is a match that I was able to watch the highlights of. I didn't watch the actual game, but from the match statistics and just from watching the flow of the game, I think this is a game that could have gone literally any direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think this is a match that could have finished 4-3 on the scoreline for either side. This is a game that could have finished 0-0 for either, like obviously in the final result. But United came with a 1-0 victory, kind of underwhelming on the scoreline. I put in the notes here. I think that teams are bad in the Premier League just because of their lack of finishing in the final third of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's like an obvious statement. Like the more goals you score, the better you'll be. But it's just so disappointing to watch sometimes.
Yeah, just like,
don't take your chances.
When it's like again, like this Norwich game. And Norwich is way at the bottom of the table. We know they're a poor side. They're most likely going to get relegated again. But they had chances and chances and chances of this game to score at least one goal.
Mm-hmm.
And going with the scoreline, one goal would have been enough for a huge draw against a side that you're not expected to get any points from. And I mean, I think they even had chances that were good enough to win. I mean, De Gea made some pretty good saves again, but just quality chances that just go astray because there's just not good finishing and just sloppy play in the build-up to the goals or the build-up to the chances.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's the frustration with a lot of fans, especially with teams that are at the bottom where, you get these clear-cut chances and you're not taking them. But, I mean, that's really what makes a difference and why you're at the bottom of the table, because you're not taking your chances. And, every single goal is precious, especially when you're Norwich and you scored all of 8 goals.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's brutal.
This season. So it's tough, right? I mean, you have to take your chances, and that's what's going to keep you up or make you get relegated. That's kind of how the Premier League's cruel that way. The best teams stay up after an entire season, and there's no playoff saving grace.
Mm-hmm.
So they're running off 3 losses their last 3 games. They're really going to have to turn it around if they hope to stay up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really see a way out for Norwich. Like you said, like just team. I keep saying this every week. Hopefully Newcastle gets out, but like teams like Norwich, Burnley, Newcastle, like, I know Newcastle has the money now, so hopefully that's just one thing they have to do. Just go in January, find someone that can put the ball in the back of the net, and you'll probably get out. But that's, you just got to find it somehow. And I think even the coach has to say, it's like, I've heard good coaches do this. They say, like, we're going to get one chance this game. Just defend well and score the one chance that we get. And that's how you play against big teams, because you will get a chance against a team at some point. So it's just about defending and then taking your chance. They did not do that. unfortunately.
And that's the thing with that comes all the added pressure. It comes back to the pressure.
Yeah, it comes back to the pressure. That's why you miss from outside the 18 when you go to shoot, because it's the one chance that you're getting all game.
Yeah, you're Norwich, you're playing against Man U, and you're running at the 18, and you're like, oh, I'm going to take the shot, and this might be the only shot we're going to take all game.
And then that's why you miss.
Yeah, that's where all the added pressure comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but like, they had a few, like, Pookie here, like, hits.
But then again, you have to beat De Gea, who's in, arguably the best form of his career right now.
Yeah, that's a good point with De Gea.
Yeah.
Like, I've been a criticizer of him a lot, and he's shown up a lot this season. He still has had his blunders a little bit in some costly situations, but more times than not, I think he's been kind of like the saving grace for this side. And we talked about it with Arsenal, obviously, like in Ramsdale. Like, their goal differential could be a lot worse. I mean, it's terrible right now. It's piss poor as it is.
Yeah.
Look at the actual numbers here for United.
Yeah, we got +2 for United and +1 for Arsenal.
What's the goals?
-1 for Arsenal.
What's the goals against for United?
24
See,
goals against for United.
That's bad.
26.
24 against United, and De Gea's playing well.
24 against, yeah, exactly. 24 against puts in the bottom 14, I'd say, in the league, around that area.
Yeah.
And again, we've talked about it before. That's just not a spot that we see United in like the statistics category be very often. But if not for De Gea, that could be up to 30.
Yeah, it'd probably be like 32.
Which I mean, that's with Leeds and Newcastle and Norwich in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's been playing well. He's been playing. Arguably one of the better players this whole season for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't had much of a standout player. Like with Ronaldo coming back, that's obviously huge in many cases, like, for merchandise and for just overall popularity of the side. But they haven't had much of like a standout player that you can look at and say, this guy's doing really, really well for them, or this guy's the reason why they're in the top European battle still.
Yeah, maybe Bruno. Like, I know last year Bruno was killing it. This year, maybe not as much. Yeah, it's tough. I know. Obviously, Ronaldo's carrying the team a little bit.
Like, what's like if we were to pick like a positive factor of why United's doing good? This not good. Like, why United's not in 10th place as opposed to 5th place? Like, what would it be?
I mean, besides Ronaldo,
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, De Gea. That's it.
Yeah,
they would probably be, 4 or 5 points further back than they already are. I would say without De Gea. And without De Gea, I know, without your 2 best players, you'd be in like 14th. But
yeah, I just mean, like, what's like the bright spot? Like, what's the reason why they're in 5th and not in 10th? Yeah. Which, I mean, it's only separated by 6 points. It's literally 2 wins.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would say De Gea and just Ronaldo just bailing him out, literally.
It's just been timely from Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those players that's always there, and it's why he is who he is. When you need a goal, it's like we've talked about before, where it's if you need a goal in the 85th plus minute, you want Ronaldo on your team. Maybe not Messi, but I would still take Messi over the course of the season. I think
I would too.
Well, actually, I said that
too.
I said that in the past. I've always leaned more towards Messi than Ronaldo. My whole life. This is the first season where I've actually started to question that.
But they're at very different points in their careers, though. Not saying that Ronaldo and Messi are different, like, personally to where they are, but I'm saying, like, just in their actual, like, lifespan of their careers, they're very different than what they were obviously 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's true.
5-6 years ago, they were like the main piece of a team.
yeah.
Now they're just kind of like pieces of a team.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like PSG's not looking at Messi for like the biggest impact of all time. Like, they obviously have quality players. Where like Neymar's obviously not old, but he's getting up there in age, and Mbappe is clearly like the shining star of that team. But I mean, putting Messi into any side is gonna make them better.
Yeah,
Putting Ronaldo into any side is gonna make them better. But you're not looking at that person and saying, like, we need you to be the best player, like, on our team. Like, we need you to carry everything for our team.
Yeah.
I think they're there for impact, obviously. But I don't think they're the biggest.
I mean, unless you're Man U.
The most reliant thing. I mean, in this situation, it's difficult because like they're not looking to Ronaldo to create chances. I think they're just looking for him just to score goals.
Yeah,
that's why he's playing number 9.
Which is, now that you say that, I do think Messi in his prime, I think is like, the GOAT. Yeah, I mean, just take what you will, like the better than Ronaldo, even though it's like 2 people on a separate galaxy than everyone else. If we're looking at the 4-2-2-2 formation for United. But I do think Ronaldo is going to be able to, outlast Messi on a higher level.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, if Messi's the way Messi plays, it's going to be tough for him to get, 40 goals from, midfield in the number 10 position. It's going to be tough as he gets older. He's not going to be able to do it, and he's not going to be a box striker at any point. I think Ronaldo, yes, he was on the wing, crushed it, and then he turned into like a number 9 box striker, and he's still crushing it there. So I do think, next 2, 3, 4 years, Ronaldo might still be getting 40 goals, where Messi's might just be, towards the end of his career, just because of the way they're built, and like, Ronaldo's like a 6-foot tall machine. Messi's not really like that, but doesn't take away from the fact that it's still Messi. But I do agree. I think Ronaldo right now is showing what, like, that aspect of his game that maybe Messi doesn't have, just that finding a scrappy goal in the box.
Well, he's just in that position better than Messi would be. Like, Messi's not going to go flying in for on a cross. He's not going to go in for a header and try and win that. Or he's not going to be on the 6-yard box looking for a rebound. That's just not the way he plays.
Mm-hmm.
So as the goals that Ronaldo's scoring, we see him on the score sheet is putting up, I don't know, 5 or 6 goals this year so far, whatever it is. But they're just not the goals we're accustomed to watching him put away.
Yeah.
Like, we remember him cutting from the wing, scissoring 2-3 guys, and like ripping one far post.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen this year.
I mean, but credit to him.
It could, obviously. He's
could.
Class. He's obviously like one, like you said, like the GOAT, like 700 goals this year.
Yeah.
800 goals? What is it?
800.
800? That's crazy.
Credit to him for just being like, I'm just going to score in any way possible.
But that's all you want. That's all.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's not there to be the chance creator, big impact. We're going to play through you all the time. He's there just to score goals. He's there because he has experience. He's there because he knows where to be on the pitch.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the McFred in the 4-2-2-2.
The McFred?
Yeah, I heard someone say that. McFred. Yeah.
Yo. The McFred.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. It's better than Fred Tominay.
Fred Tominay is pretty good.
Fred Tominay is pretty good. They're both really
No,
funny.
I can't go with the McFred.
McFred.
I think the McFred might change to the McDebeek pretty soon.
McDebeek. I think it should.
I think it was Max who said that. Shout out to Max for the McFred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Mick DeBeek is also pretty funny.
I just think Fred is gonna see his way out of the side.
Yeah.
Like, I know he scored last week in a huge crucial game. Crucial time. But I just think with Ragnick's style with like youth and playing more energetic players and giving them more of a chance. Like, look at what's happened since he's been there and since Carrick took over.
Yeah.
Sancho's played every single game.
I know, they're probably getting there like, okay, you're playing.
And they're turning around results.
I know.
And it was kind of cool to watch. Like, Sancho came off this match against Norwich. I forget what minute it was, but then in comes Greenwood for Sancho. Like, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
To have like youthful players like that making an impact and then just coming in and on for each other.
Yeah, that's really
good. That's awesome. Like, that's such a luxury to have.
I can't.
And then obviously, and then Van de Beek as well. Van de Beek comes on for Bruno Fernandes at some point.
Yeah.
Like, that.
Like,
you gotta love that.
Looking at this, like, who are you playing instead of Sancho? Like, I don't even remember, and I don't remember why.
It was Greenwood a lot of the time, or the formation was different.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be Ronaldo as like a single striker, and then like Rashford and Martial, or Rashford and Greenwood.
Yeah.
Sancho wouldn't play that often. They had Bruno Fernandes on the wing sometimes as well, which obviously wasn't his actual position. Like, once the game got going, he kind of like shifted back to the middle. But it'd be like Rashford, Ronaldo, and Fernandes kind of drop back, and then like Fred McTominay throughout. It was just a weird
Fred McTominay.
McFred, which I'm never gonna.
Let us know in the comment section your favorite acronym.
Yeah, I'm never gonna.
McFred, Mick Van de Beek, or Van de Fred.
Van de Fred's good too.
Or Fred Tominay.
Fred Tominay.
Fred Tominay is the other one.
But yeah, so as Santo said, he alluded to before, you count Ronaldo to score in the 85th minute or so. This time it happened in the 75th minute. He did have obviously some involvement as well. He won the PK. Kind of a softish call, I think. The ball was crossed in, and he had a tussle with the defender from Norwich. He goes down in the box. I believe another one that went to VAR as well for just for confirmation. Deemed a PK. He pots it back in the net, 75th minute, and it's kind of all she wrote. There wasn't too many chances after that. Some scrappy play from Norwich, which you kind of expect to just try and get some last minute consolation out of the game. But another takeaway from this game that I'll say is that when I watch United play, which isn't very often where I watch the entire match, but when I do watch them play, I could go the entire game without seeing Lindelof at all.
Yeah. Just like
good point.
Which is so strange. Like,
Yeah.
He barely gets the ball at his feet. Like when they play the ball back into the defense, it's usually to Maguire, then to Gea, then they build up from the back. I never hear his name get mentioned with the ball, like in the back of defense. I never see him in an attacking position. I never see him defend anything really. And I think he's just a clear, obvious person out of the squad.
Yeah.
Once Varane comes back.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously, like with United having such a poor goal differential as they do, like we said before, having a minus 24 goals against, the defense is probably the biggest detriment to the team. And I think that's what Rangnick's going to try and like hound in on, mostly when he comes into like full coaching of the side.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 3 games that he's been there, he's only allowed 1 goal against, and that was in a Champions League match against Young Boys. So he's had a 1-0 victory, a 1-1 draw, and another 1-0 victory this past weekend. I don't know if that's how they're going to always play, if that's what they're going to shoot for in the score line, but not conceding has to be top of their of their charts for what they want to do the rest of the season.
Yeah, and honestly, I do think he, just from what I've seen so far, I think he could be the guy for Man U if things play out well. I just really like kind of the structure they're going with, and I think if they can fill in those gaps, particularly in the McFred section of the field, that I think is going to go a long way for them. So I really do hope it works out for him, because right now there's not really a whole lot that you can criticize him on, and just based on what he's done in the past, still not a lot to criticize him on. So I do see him being the guy for Man U going forward.
Yeah, we'll have to see how things develop, and time will tell at the end of the season. I think if he gets him into Champions League, there's going to be a lot of questions like, oh, why aren't you giving him at least an extra full season, giving him a summer to build the squad? I think it'll depend. If they do bring someone in, it'll depend who that is. I keep saying this, if Ragnarok makes him at least competitive towards the end of the season to get in the Champions League, and then they let him, go into the other position he has there and sign like a Brendan Rodgers, I do think the Man U fans will feel a little bit hard done by. It'll feel like a lateral move from Ole. Maybe not necessarily. I know Brendan Rodgers has coached some pretty high-profile Liverpool teams, but they'll want someone with like a cabinet of silverware to come in.
He's coached high-profile teams, but still hasn't won.
I know, and that's what I mean.
Which is what I think they need to bring to the side.
Yeah.
And, like, Rangnick's he's weird. It's a weird spot for him because he's never won as a manager, but he's built sides that have been successful in their own right. Like building, like we talked about a few episodes ago, when he took control of RB Leipzig from Division 3 or whatever it was in Germany, and brought them to the team that they became, which is now like a Champions League namestay in the Bundesliga. That's huge.
Yeah.
Like clearly that's obviously massive. That being said, he still hasn't won any hardware for his clubs that he's been manager of.
Right.
So maybe he is better from the executive role, and maybe when he's brought to United on this like 6 month stint that he's on as manager, maybe they do want to have him at the helm to try and change the culture while he's here as manager, and then it'll be his job to find the replacement. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he finds somebody from the Bundesliga who's been successful that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure who is even at Leipzig right now as a manager. It could be some high-profile person. I could be totally ignorant to that right now. I'm not totally sure. But somebody that he knows of, or someone that he's had his eye on in the Bundesliga, that's been like a really good coach, that's been, keeping teams in line for years, and he's been like always competitive. That could be a person that gets in there that we don't even know about yet. Because we always look at to like the Antonio Contes and the Zidans and what's his name? Ancelotti. Yeah. Like we always look to those guys as like the ones to come in and like save teams because they've won before and they're obviously high profile. And a high profile person like that would fit United's like, their persona. But it might just be someone who just knows how to win.
Yeah.
Which is what they need. Like Simeone for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
He's never won anything before that.
Yeah.
Like as a manager. But he comes in with Atletico and he's just been like such a solid coach for them, and he obviously brought them to huge success in La Liga.
Yeah.
And he could be a guy that comes into United.
I could see that. Maybe. I mean, I don't know if he'll leave, but
no, I don't know if he'll leave either, but I'm just saying like someone who's like we're not really talking about yet from like a super, super high profile, or someone who's not even a free agent right now is in the manager market.
Yeah.
But somebody who we just kind of don't think about that have just like been there for a long time and like shown success and shown that they can stay in a top 2, top 3 battle for longer than just 1 or 2 seasons. That could be a person that we see go to United.
Yeah.
In the future after Rangnick leaves after May to take over his executive role with the club. Last match to talk about before our live review of this 17-minute highlight pack and the match today between Man City and Leeds. It was the Liverpool-Aston Villa match. The Stephen G return to Anfield. I mean, obviously huge for him. Super emotional. I mean, I got chills watching him go back there.
Yeah, that's honestly huge for him. I mean, massive legend is an understatement.
Yeah, he was like he was Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you ever want to go on a deep dive of just like players' goals over the years, there's been compilations put together of Steven Gerrard's goals with Liverpool.
Yeah,
like dating from like his very first goal to his 100 and whatever it was that he finished off with. Chills. Like just seeing him as like an 18, 17-year-old kid wearing number like 44 for Liverpool. It is so weird to see Gerrard with like a number 40 something on it on the back of his jersey. He climbed the ranks and he was able to become captain like really soon actually after he cracked the starting 11.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure on how old he was, but he was in his like early 20s.
Yeah.
And he's already Liverpool captain.
Yeah.
Like from Liverpool, born and raised. I think he was actually an Everton fan. I think that was like the story.
Yeah.
I think he was like an Everton supporter, like when he was growing up, and then he like signed Liverpool.
Yeah.
As a youth.
Yeah,
it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, if you're trying to make pro, obviously you're gonna take the chances when you can, right? But yeah, just thinking about his entire career, like still remember him. With AC Milan in the Champions League final. It's just been legendary seeing him through a big chunk of his career there at Liverpool. So obviously really emotional welcome. But didn't get the win.
No, didn't get the win. Another game that was
decided
by the PK. It's
PK.
hilarious. I mean, this is our 4th game, and this is our 8th PK we're talking about involving the top 4. Mo Salah, 67th minute. Again, another PK that I believe was rightfully deserved.
Yeah, and I think just defender just taking him down, going to ground, doing an unnecessary challenge.
Yeah. They're not gonna show it in this highlight package here, but I mean, again, this kind of goes to what we talked about earlier with the Man City, and it's like it's a game where on almost every level, Liverpool is like far and away the dominant side, and another 1-0 victory. I mean, it's It's kind of the way that we see it when you play against a side like Villa or a side like, we talked about Watford before, even Wolves, like that top 10, top 13, teams, they don't bow down lightly, no matter who you're playing against, whether home or away. And a side like Villa has been, in the Premier League for a long time, and they've been able to sustain themselves. And for them to be in the top 10 right now, that's pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah, especially with losing Grealish.
Yeah, huge. Like, clearly your biggest and brightest player for your team, the biggest goal contributor for your side.
Yeah,
last couple seasons, just gone.
Yeah. So I mean, they've picked up 3 wins their last 5 games, making their way into the top 10. So I think fairly positive with them, and I think Jared's going to bring a lot to the team. I think a big win for them is just going to be finishing in the top 10, especially with how their season was going.
Yeah, when they fired Dean Smith, they were 5 losses in a row.
Yeah.
Very tough. Jared came in and went against Brighton, went against Palace, lost against City. Obviously, that's City. Mm-hmm. Then you beat Leicester, and then lost against Liverpool. So I mean, their track record of losses since the Jared hiring, I mean, you're losing to the 2 best teams in the league, stats wise.
Yeah. I mean, I keep saying it. It'll be interesting to see what the table looks like after the Christmas break, who sits where, because it's always the clutch season, games after games, and trying to keep everyone fit and healthy, and then you come out of it 6 games later after 2 weeks or whatever it is, and it's just like, what happened?
That's gonna be an exciting podcast in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
We're probably gonna record like January 2nd, which would be like right at the end of all the all the matches there in the Christmas holiday. So
charge your laptops for that one.
Yeah. Oh god, we had to burn through 2 laptops for that one. 2 separate recordings or something. So after the weekend, the table looked like Man City after the weekend was 38 points, 1 point ahead of Liverpool, 2 points ahead of Chelsea. So 38, 37, 36 was their top 3. And then a 8-point differential between Chelsea and West Ham in 4th. So that was your top 4 for Champions League spots, followed by United and Arsenal, Tottenham. Tottenham's got 2 games in hand now.
Yeah, because
they have 1 game canceled. Was it the snow, right?
Yeah, too much snow. And
was it another game canceled for
I think COVID?
Yeah,
I want to say COVID.
COVID's kind of hitting England pretty hard right now.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously everyone's taking their big precautions, and I think they might try and limit some of the games. They might try and reschedule some of the games. I don't know if they're going to have fans and they're going to have the games actually being played. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how it's going to happen the next few weeks. We'll see how that unfolds. But we're going to go now into the match that happened today, the Man City and Leeds game. It was a 17-minute highlight pack. So this is our live reaction.
They're about to score.
There's 2 minutes in. Like Grealish hit the shot already.
Grealish is getting a hat trick.
Do you know who scores?
I don't know.
I don't know anything. No, neither do you.
I don't know anything about this game.
I'm the only one. I sort of watched it today, but I was on and off, and then I just watched the highlights mostly.
I just know that they scored a goal for every day of the week.
Yeah. For everyone watching, we're just watching the highlights on DAZN. De Bruyne. Well done.
See, why
don't you? Gotta take Bernardo of all people missed.
Okay, De Bruyne
6-minute Bernardo shanking one and going wide.
De Bruyne should have shot that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Bernardo still was wide.
Look at his positioning. Shoot that.
But it's an open net, but I would surprise you missed. De Bruyne puts his hands up after. He's like, "What the heck?" Look at him. Oh, hilarious.
So Man U's playing a
Man City.
Man City's playing
not Man U. I don't think Man U's going to be the team 7-0 anytime soon.
No. Oh, nice.
Ooh. Okay. Rodgers going through. That defender, who, I don't know, 15 on Leeds just shanks it. It's coming right out. Swing and a miss.
That's going to be on misplays of the month.
Yeah, 7th minute, Foden scores just because the Leeds guy. Oh, we got a YouTube ad. What is this? Best DIY gift whileabot.com.
We're not giving any free ads away.
Yeah,
Get
skip
out of
ad.
What a shake.
here. What a cluster of just.
Yeah, good ball. Good for Foden.
Yeah,
for getting
Rodri gets in.
Rodri.
Rodri's running
Super
in the
lucky.
18-yard box, almost takes out the keep, and then this is hilarious. Just a defender.
The goalkeeper got a touch on it.
Yeah,
That screwed the defender up probably.
I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
think you should
a
deal
little.
with that.
Yeah, just like shanking it.
Just
He
this angle's
looks
the
like
best.
he's auditioned for
That's so
Nutcracker
funny.
Ballet.
The-
That high kick.
The highlight from the back that it's hilarious. I feel bad for the Leicester boss. He was like after the fourth goal, he's just like kneeling on the touchline, just like what is going on?
Leeds boss.
Yeah. Oh,
All right,
here
so
we
what?
go. Who's on the end of it? Boom! Grealish scores.
All right.
Oh,
There's one. I don't know
He's
if
got
there's
a
anymore,
goal.
but I'm talking
That's
smack.
good. You know, he's
I
good.
wasn't even like. I wasn't
did
even
you guys
watching
see?
him.
Why was there a kid there?
Grealish scores in the 12th minute. If anyone realizes there was a kid just in the huddle after they score on the corner. That's hilarious.
That's kind of.
Is it the ball boy?
Probably not. I don't know. Just some kid ran from the fans.
Hey, he's onside clearly.
Not gonna get tackled. I think they still got fined though.
Good for Grealish. Getting a good
Yeah.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah, a good header too.
Man City's a big team. Like they're not
They are.
as a. I mean, as opposed. I mean, we talked before about having Gabriel Jesus and like Foden and Bernardo Silva, but other than those three guys, like, or Sterling too, they're a big team.
They don't like their defense is big. Like Laporte, Ruben, Rodri, they're all massive. They don't have massive attacking players. I guess outside of Jesus, but they're.
Outside, he's not as big at either.
I know. I mean, he's
Besides
kind
Jesus.
of. He's not tiny. I
Well,
guess.
because he's not 5'5".
Yeah, but like they're. I guess outside De Bruyne, but like
Oh boy.
Grealish is a decent size, but no, they're like Ruben Diaz is like 23 or something, or
That's
something
wild.
crazy, and he's massive.
He's gonna be there for his career.
Probably.
Oh, excuse me.
Who? Yeah, Zinchenko's playing. It's a little
Yeah.
surprising, but
I saw that today. He was playing too.
yeah.
Oh, what a ball.
Yeah, good ball. Then just blink. In the net from De Bruyne,
Yeah,
31st
there you
minute, tough
There
angle.
It is. Finally, he's getting a goal.
Yeah, I know.
That was a good
I know
ball.
he's
Good
been
run.
out this season a bunch because he's been injured, and he's the kind of player you don't want to rush back too soon. Like you obviously want to have him in your side almost all times.
Yeah, I mean,
so it is good to be cautious with him.
and
but
with the team you have, like you don't have to risk
Right.
it really.
Right, which is crazy to say. He's
I
like
know you don't have to risk playing De Bruyne. If you don't
arguably
have
one of
to.
the best players in the world.
Yeah.
But
Good
when
finish.
he's on though, man, he's really
Yes.
really good.
You just score like
Yeah, like,
basically
look at this
anything else.
angle.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Like I can't really compare him to anybody I've seen.
Mm-mm.
I mean, midfield wise, like
May-
I'd even go back to the Lampard,
Like
just,
Steven Gerrard, maybe.
just a player who can score from the midfield, but also just a huge factor as well.
Yeah.
Like we talked Gerrard earlier in the season, or in the podcast, how his career at Liverpool, like really,
Yeah.
man, that's easy balls.
Yeah.
His career at Liverpool was really, like legendary, obviously, and like he just, as opposed to scoring as many goals as he did, he like what he just did for the club, and he put his entire like heart behind the club.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find many players like that anymore. And like I don't think De Bruyne is gonna like really be like that for Man City, like where he puts his whole heart and soul into the team. Like obviously he loves being there, but his impact is like no other too.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
like I said, like when he's playing and he's on, he easily could win like Ballon d'Or
Yeah.
if they have a successful season and he's like hugely impactful for them.
Yeah.
Like he's that quality of player.
If anyone is ever going to win the Ballon d'Or except Messi and Ronaldo at some point. I love how
Which I mean, we could talk about this season. I don't think Messi should have won this year. To be
I-
honest,
Didn't he even say that Lewandowski should have won?
I mean, it's so weird.
Lewandowski?
Like the 1 year Lewandowski obviously should have won. There's COVID, and they just don't do that. Like, what?
Barcelona didn't do anything.
I know it's so weird.
Barcelona had arguably
So-
their worst season.
So many politics.
ball.
This is crazy.
Barca had their worst season in
I know,
Messi's
and they gave it to
tenure.
Messi because he won the Copa America. And it's like okay, but like Jorginho won
Oh.
Champions League and
Euro.
Euro, so it's like that's obviously better. So if we're going off that, then like what the fuck?
That's sad.
I know.
And again, like it doesn't obviously take away from Messi and who he is. Like we know who he is.
I need, yeah,
But you have to look at it on a per season basis as opposed to your status and like who you are.
Yeah.
Oh, it just makes me sick.
Did they skip a goal?
No, it's 3-0.
I don't think so.
Grealish, De Bruyne.
And Foden.
Foden on the first one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The swing and a miss.
Sorry, Santo's sleeping there.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Swing and
Gundogan comes on at half. Who did Gundogan come on for?
Swing and miss from Santo right there.
Came on for... not sure.
Gundogan for Foden?
I'm not sure.
Bernardo Silva?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Oh,
Yep,
back
Bernardo
heel.
Silva. Honestly, City... To be honest, I think City,
Nice
at
ball.
their best, is the best team.
Yeah.
I just don't necessarily think they reach it. Austin, that's a soft goal. Mahrez
Barely
scoring in the
celebrating.
48th minute.
Yeah, really.
This is one of those days for the Leeds where everything goes in.
Well, you come off a crushing defeat like they did against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, they played well. I don't think they should have beat them, but they played good enough to at least get a positive result and a draw out of that game.
Yeah.
So I think to get a crushing game like that on the Saturday and then come back here on the Tuesday, only on 2 days rest, 2 full days rest,
Yeah.
to
So
go
tough.
against Man City of all teams,
Very tough.
your mind has got to be all over the place. And there's Marcelo Bielsa,
Just
the manager
crouching
for
down on the
Leeds,
ground.
just,
Yeah.
you know,
What
look
is
at-
Fig Jam?
no free ads, Joe.
I don't know. I think we're looking for a whiteboard tool at work. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I say no free ads, but if you guys want to come on ads and sponsor our podcast,
Yeah.
come
If
right
anyone's
ahead.
got stuff.
I'll sponsor anything.
Yeah. Anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that would
Oh,
come like a
nice.
Rodri smash.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Yeah.
it wasn't actually.
One time top corner again.
We've seen that a couple times this season.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Player behind the wall. And good save.
Millier.
Yeah. Just the
I thought he was going to be good last season for Leeds. I thought he was going to be like a real up-and-coming sick goalie that we might see sign somewhere else later, or just kind of be one of those guys like Fabianski
doing this ball.
who
What a
is
ball.
just really impactful for your side, no matter like what your side is. Like if you're a top 5 or top 10,
Yeah.
you just have like a good keeper. But he's shown
His
some
positioning's off. I mean, even there.
Yeah, he's shown
Gundogan just-
sometimes, especially this season here, where Leeds in entirety has had a down season
Yeah.
compared to where they were last year. Like last year, I was tuning into a lot of Leeds games just because they always played tough and they like to score. And Millier was actually a pretty solid keeper, but now this season they're just
Mm-hmm.
Unlucky here, though.
all the things I just mentioned. They're just doing poorly in.
Yeah.
55th
minute off the post from Leeds. Like I said, you're gonna get one chance. You got to score your chance, even though it wouldn't have
That wouldn't matter, yeah.
mattered.
Fernandinho for Rodri.
Yeah, it's like swap one defensive midfielder for the other best defensive midfielder.
Swapping God for Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I honestly do think like Fernandinho. I know Fernandinho doesn't play a lot because of Rodri, but they're probably the two best holding midfielders outside of Conte. Well, really, Conte doesn't even play that role anymore.
Yeah.
He plays like in front of Jorginho.
He's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Goes everywhere.
Tuchel's like, well, you can run everywhere, so we'll just put you up there so you can just run box to box.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I mean. Just like
That
Late
fifth goal was
lollygaggling
that
over.
fifth goal was work ethic. From
I mean,
offside?
this is offside, so it doesn't matter.
okay, so I
Yeah.
thought, I know
But it
offside.
would have been, yeah.
But that's just work ethic that Pep. That's not offside.
Yeah, this was right here.
Pep instills into his side,
Yeah.
like Grealish coming back from nowhere, winning the ball back in the midfield, turning up field right away. I mean, 9 times out of 10 they can do that and score.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, it's offside. I've never seen this referee before.
Yeah.
That's a
yeah,
young
he's like just
What's a young
notes
referee?
outside.
He's like a toe offside. The Leeds guy was doing this all game, just kneeling on the sidelines. This is literally a toe.
Wow.
I mean, it's a foot offside. So,
Literally a foot.
That's why players don't play lacrosse nowadays, right?
Well, I think most do.
Well, that's Man City's
Oy.
bread and butter is playing that.
Yeah,
ball
that's
across.
that's how they get all their
Oh
goals.
boy.
Boom. De Bruyne in the 61st minute. Just for all we talk about. Why can't they hit the net outside the 18?
So Joe knew this game was happening.
Yeah, and I just set you up for
making this
comment.
Joe sewered the hell out of me in this game, or in this podcast.
Just talking about Grealish and scoring outside the 18.
Should have known. I should have picked up on that.
De Bruyne with
but that's what I mean. I don't see how it's. I mean, granted, they're up for nothing, and it's like, oh, no pressure. Like, we're gonna win, so that goes into it a lot.
I'm gonna stop this actually in a second. Oh, I gotta go back 1 minute.
Yeah, just crazy.
Ball watching.
Yeah,
so I just paused this. If you guys want to do the same thing, I paused this highlight package from DAZN Canada, 17 minutes 13 seconds long video. I paused in the 12th minute and 7th second. It's a behind the camera view of this goal. There's 6 players from Leeds ball watching Gundogan right now on this play.
Yeah,
and De Bruyne is wide open.
They're all just looking at De Bruyne.
This goes to show just the difference in tactics and player awareness in the different sides that we see that really separates the top from the bottom.
Yeah,
or top from the middle, however you want to word it.
Yeah,
this is terrible defending.
Yeah, no, no one
6s and 7s at the back. De Bruyne's open. Grealish can be slot in.
I don't know if we're reiterating what was already said, but this had to be broken down from after the game by some pundit somewhere.
Yeah,
because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
At this point, the match is already 5-0. I'm sure Leeds already feels defeated. I mean, it was 3-0 at halftime. If they don't feel dejected by that point, then this game is by this point in the game, it's just they're probably feeling nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But literally 6 players ball watching Gundogan, and De Bruyne's just wide open in the middle of the pitch just to receive the ball.
Yeah, and then he does. And that's why when you have time and when you give De Bruyne time.
When you have time for De Bruyne, time, space, and it's so wide open. And then they turn around, they're like, oh, De Bruyne's there in the middle of the field.
And that's what you do. And you just rip.
Yeah, just all the time. I guess that's the difference, right? He literally had all the time in the world. So.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I saw it from the first angle.
Just they're all, he's so open.
I noticed when we were watching it live, I noticed
why who's their sentiment? I don't know why he's getting dragged over.
Right away, I was like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just wide open.
What? I don't even know.
Yeah. All right.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Just all the time and space in the world. Just rips it. Jeez.
And then obviously the shot was just.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to finish it after.
Yeah, I was going to say a defensive breakdown like that's one thing, but you still have to finish it on a Premier caliber goalkeeper.
Millier's just Pep's pumped. Millier's not even close to it.
At that point, as a goalie, do you even try?
Yeah, do you even try? They're well, De Bruyne's shooting it as well.
I love when the goalie gets scored from outside the box, they put their hands up in the air, you should close that guy down. It's well, he's 30 yards out. You should make the save.
Yeah.
I mean, that one in particular, probably not make the save because it was a wicked shot, but
yeah.
I find that funny from the goalkeeper sometimes. So you got to close that guy down. It's well, he shot from 30 yards out.
Yeah.
Okay, make an appearance.
Here we go.
That's good. Oh, nice
just
ball.
wide open.
I thought that one in.
Yeah. Mahrez missing a chance. 69th minute, right foot. That's what's Mahrez. His right foot's so oddly good.
That was going wide though.
Yeah, I think
he was missing the net.
I don't know. Fernandinho's all the way.
Oh, nice save.
Keeper.
Nice save.
Double save, and then it goes in.
Who is that?
John Stones in the box.
73rd
minute.
Oh my gosh.
Two good saves. Probably man, I can't do anything. Good save off the header for starters. This was a good save.
Yeah.
John
Stones all the time to line one up with his left foot. Look at that.
I meant, they're just sitting there. No one's closing. No one is closing at all. Just John Stones had 2 bites at it.
And I know we're making fun of Leeds right now in this game in particular, and I just gave them praise in the last game against Chelsea, but there is a reason why they're in 16th place with 32 goals against. I mean, take this 7-0 game out of it. There's 25 goals against. That still is in the bottom 5 of the table in goals against, let's say. But you gotta be better than that. And I know at these points of the game, like you're dejected, like I said, and like you're giving up on the play. But still, like you gotta have some fight. You gotta show something.
Yeah, you gotta get some damage control too. Like,
just like keep it tight.
Take something out of the game.
Yeah, just like hey, like you're 2-3 down. Just after you go 3 down, it's like hey, just defend. Let's just defend.
Yeah.
And frustrate them, and then we'll try and nick a goal late in the second half, get some momentum, because that's all you really need. You just got to defend, nick a goal, and then it's like, okay, now we have the momentum, and then see if you can get 1 or 2 more, and then at least if you lose 3-2, at least you can take something positive out of the game.
That's what I mean, or even like making incentives. Okay, it's 3-0 at halftime, no more than 3.
Yeah.
Like we'll come out this game even if we don't score, don't let another goal in. Like you have to look and set a goal for yourself, and maybe Bielsa did that at halftime, and his team just didn't get it, and they didn't care. And like you said, maybe fatigue does play a part into it. I think they're playing a pretty similar lineup to what they normally line up with.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel James, Rafinha still there, Roberts, Jack Harrison. Like these guys are all, their main guys that are playing up front. And I wouldn't see a reason why they would change their back line or anything too. So maybe these are the same guys that played against Chelsea, and their fatigue is just setting into it. But man, you gotta show some fight and something.
Yeah, you just can't give anyone. I mean,
I had 2 shots on net.
2 shots you had all that time. Just line it up.
I mean, 15 shots against. You're rolling at almost a 50% clip on shots to goals against.
Mm.
It's not very good.
Hey, the minimalist belt.
Not very good ads.
I have that belt. Santo has that belt. Yeah.
Nice. No free ads, Joe. This is the Ake goal.
Yeah. Very soft.
Yeah.
I mean, how does it travel that far and there's 3 people?
Dude, because there's 5 guys from Leeds on the far post.
Yeah. Look,
if anyone wants to see this.
14:43. Look at where Ake is. Look where the Leeds defenders are. And that's what he headed it far post. And
this is my favorite highlight pack of all time because I'm actually able to break it down. Like
no. There's so many of them. That's hilarious.
I've never seen them before in my life.
No.
There's 5 defenders from Leeds on the far post. Well, it would have been near post, actually, from where the corner was taken. All inside the 6-yard box. Defending nobody.
That's where the header went. And it still went in.
Well,
this is hilarious.
Yeah, that's really funny.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's zonal marking, but how did no one get ahead on the header? Oh man.
Like, good for Ake though, getting
just getting in there. I mean, what? Crazy.
That just looks so funny.
I mean, how did that go in? I don't even know how it traveled that far. And
Millier was fully stretched.
Mm-hmm. Not sure.
How would no one on the far post? There's 5 bodies there. Gets a touch on it.
It did not go that fast. That's weird. This is a weird
he turned
run.
him. Yeah.
Like what?
Oh, Rafinha.
Yeah, Rafinha's fault. I don't know.
That's just funny. That's a funny screen grab.
Powerful header though, getting up.
Yeah.
Putting it far post.
I feel so bad for Leeds coach. Look at him. Terrible. I think he's like a cool guy too.
He expects better. I mean, he's a very demanding coach, and we've seen it last year with Leeds and how they performed.
Yeah.
They showed themselves that they could play, and I think maybe also last season they were kind of able to take them coming up into the Premier League kind of to their advantage. Like no one really watched them play. Maybe like there wasn't much footage. Obviously, every game is available for game film, but maybe they just took some players lightly last season, and like some other guys overachieved for Leeds.
Yeah,
and some other teams didn't know how to defend properly or expect how they're going to play, so it surprised some teams. But this year, I mean, clearly they're figured out.
Yeah,
and they had such a down year now,
which is unfortunate. Like a big side.
Yeah. Oh, huge, legendary in the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully it was only 7. Could have been. Who knows?
A little more.
Yeah, like we said 15 shots on target. But like the saves that Millier made though, there weren't like really many goal stopping saves. They're kind of the ones that are right at the body, which count as a shot on net, obviously. Maybe it could have been 8 instead of 7.
I feel so bad for
I love this coach. I feel so bad for him. Like,
yeah.
What?
I mean, you never want to see that. That's it's one of those things too, like where, even like when we were playing when we were younger, they're saying like, fair play, be honest, like don't run the score up. This is the season where you have to run the score up.
Yeah, could come down to goal differential.
Exactly. Being as tight as it is, like I said, the top 3, with Man City playing today, they've played 17 matches, and Liverpool and Chelsea both at 16. So they have the 1 game in hand, but Chelsea and Liverpool have the 1 game in hand. But let's just say Chelsea and Liverpool win. It's only separated by 1 and 2 points.
Yeah.
And then the goal differential is only separated by, 2-3 goals here and there, like however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
So like you have to put away your goals.
I know. I mean, that was huge for them.
That was massive for City to do that.
26. I don't know. I can't do math, but like
24
before. Now they're right near Liverpool. At 31. Huge.
Yeah. Look at the disconnect between the top 3 to everywhere else.
I know. It's so
it's like
massive. Just this massive.
That's gross.
Gaping hole of where the quality is. Crazy.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Matches upcoming. So like we said before, midweek, there's some games taking place right now. There was a game supposed to be played today. It was actually Brentford and Manchester United. That game got postponed due to COVID protocol. I'm not sure if there's an outbreak on both sides, or maybe some guys were getting it and they were just trying to be precautionary. I'm not totally sure. So we'll see how it plays out for the rest of the week. But tomorrow, as it stands, there's still some games scheduled. Biggest match for tomorrow would be Arsenal and West Ham, 3:00 match. It's number 4 versus number 6 in the table, only separated by 2 points in favor of West Ham. So clearly that game's going to be huge. Where's it being played at?
Arsenal could jump to top 4 with a win.
Match is being played at the Emirates Stadium for Arsenal. So
yeah,
another game, London derby, always big. We've talked at length about Arsenal this podcast since the creation of the podcast like 15 episodes ago. Very different dynamics from when we started the pod talking about them to what we're doing now. So let's see if they can keep that rolling. And then for Thursday, there's 3 matches. It's highlighted by Leicester City and Tottenham. Tottenham's got actually a lot of games in hand because they had a couple of games that were canceled for the snow that took place a couple weekends ago in England. So I think Tottenham actually have only played 14 matches this season so far, which is the lowest out of every Premier League side.
Yeah.
So, let's just say that they win those 2 games. They're sitting at 31 points.
Yeah.
That's right in that 4th place spot.
Yeah.
Which we didn't see Tottenham being in there at all.
I know.
Under Nuno when he was still there at the helm. So Antonio Conte's really turned the side around, getting some positive results since he's been there. 3 wins in a row in Premier League. So he's going to try and keep that trend rolling against Leicester, who just keeps sliding and sliding. Being really inconsistent this year, Leicester City.
Oh, yeah. It's very, very strange. Last year was like, I know they didn't qualify for Champions League, but they were in the top 3 for the longest time. So I think, every team has their off season. I think they're going to give Brendan Rodgers the benefit of the doubt, even if they don't qualify for Champions League or get near the top 4. They'll give them another year probably, but we'll have to see. Who knows? I could say that, but tomorrow, I don't even know anymore with how quickly managers swap places. But
yeah, and in Leicester's standpoint too, they've had such a solid run the last couple of seasons because of that success that they had when they won the title. That is they almost expect now to be in that top 4 battle all the time. But they're really showing their roots now, and they're not really a top 4 team. They have all the capabilities. They have the raucous crowd at the King Power that are always behind them. They have the big name manager in Brendan Rodgers. But now those players that really got them to that level are fading off.
Yeah.
Vardy's still putting goals in the back of the net. I think he's number 2 in the goal scorers this season behind Mo Salah. But he's not the Vardy that was putting away 30.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have Amars alongside him. And then N'Golo Kante in the midfield. And a Danny Drinkwater who had just an emergence when he was there at Leicester.
What's he doing?
He's with Chelsea, but I don't even know where he's playing right now. I think he's on loan somewhere still.
Yeah.
But he's still under the Chelsea
Books.
roster or whatever,
Yeah.
under the books. Yeah. Speaking of Chelsea, they play Everton on Thursday, and Liverpool Newcastle. Not looking good for my Newcastle. Going up against second place side Liverpool. But we'll see how they make out on Thursday, and that wraps up the midweek games. On the weekend, biggest match, I'd probably say Tottenham Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say so.
Taking place Sunday.
We'll see. I mean, that could be a juicy one if Tottenham win. It'll be like that'll put Tottenham in a pretty good spot, and then Liverpool. I don't know. It could be interesting.
That'll be a good test for Antonio Conte and how they set up, because he, like I said, with the Italian side in him, he kind of prides himself on defense and like getting more structure in the side. And other than Man City and Liverpool, like there's no other biggest test.
Yeah.
So we'll see how Antonio Conte can come off against the Leicester game, which again is another side that's all about attack, I think. So we'll see how they do against Leicester on Thursday, and then come back against Liverpool on Sunday. Just to round out the top four: Chelsea and Wolves, Man City, Newcastle, and Man United, Brighton, and West Ham, Norwich. So maybe Norwich will probably get another win. Sorry, West Ham could probably get another win, which will help their efforts to stay in the European Champions League spots.
Yeah.
Ooh, Santo.
Santo almost lost it.
Choking.
Way to kill my outro, Santo. You almost almost lost it there.
Choking on West Ham.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, we good, guys?
We're good.
Good.
All right, I want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast. As always, you can catch us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You guys know where to look. It's Footy Phans Podcast, PHANS. That's it. We will catch up next week, well, on the weekend, after all of the week's action.
See everyone.
Bye, everybody.